We all know that AI platforms like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and others rely on search engines like Google, Bing, Brave, and others for answers, which means traditional SEO still stands. But in this video, we will not touch the traditional stuff. You can watch these videos on our channel to level up your traditional SEO knowledge. We are going to talk about how to do AI search optimization in ways you have never heard before. Let's go. There are 7 things you can do to optimize your brand or website for AI search platforms, so let's start with the first. If you know which group of people, brands, and websites influence AI the most in your niche, you can align with them, collaborate, and position yourself alongside their authority. But the problem is, how? How would you know what sites are influencing the AI platforms? If you rely on general statistics, for example this, where they claim that Google AI Overview cited Wikipedia, Business Insider, Forbes, etc. the most, the question is, what exactly are their data based on? Are they searching for business-related keywords or are they searching for health-related keywords? Because based on our original research, where we perform many searches on Google based on keywords in many different niches and industries like gardening, automotive, fitness, health, and so on, I've never seen Business Insider, Wikipedia, or NerdWallet being cited once. That is unless the search queries are business and finance related. So I would claim that this data is flawed, and that's because of our own research. And for you, instead of relying on other people's data, why not rely on your original research? If your brand is in the home repair niche, here's what you want to do first. Create a full list of keywords that are important to your business and that LLMs would likely need to search the web for answers, maybe 100 of them. If you're not sure, you can ask LLMs like ChatGPT. Provide me with a list of 100 queries people will search for on LLMs that are related to home repairs or whatever niche or industry you are in, and that LLMs will likely visit the web for answers and not from their training data. Use placeholders if applicable. Give it a while for ChatGPT to provide the list. And when it is done, you want to put them into a spreadsheet like this. So let me do so. Give me a while. And let's sort them so we can tidy up the lines. Now you see we have placeholders, zip code, city, region, and we want to insert all these where your business or brand is operating in. So you want to hit Ctrl H or Command Shift H if you're on Mac to find and replace the placeholders. We'll add, for example, city and replace them with, for example, New York, and hit replace all, and you will see that the placeholders has been replaced. Then region, we can change it to maybe Midwest. Let's hit replace all, and you can do so for the rest of the placeholders. I'm just giving you an example. Now you want to create the same spreadsheet for different platforms to collect the data, such as this is for ChatGPT. We want to right click and duplicate it. And then this is for Perplexity, Claude, or whatever. You see the spreadsheets are all the same. Then the next step is for you to go to different AI platforms to search for those keywords. If you have a team, split them up to do research on different platforms, but if you are alone, then focus on one platform at a time. Anyway, you see I've asked this question and ChatGPT has provided me with its answer. What you want to do is to take note of the websites that are being cited. If you are familiar with popular sites in your niche, you want to jot them down. For example, Home Guide, we have added to one of the columns as the main subject for our research. And every time that website is being cited, you want to add one to the field. This is the same question we have asked. The reason for doing so is because by the end of your research, you will know how many times this website is being cited against the number of keywords you have searched for. And that will give you the percentage of the website being cited. That's basically how I do my research. I'm just sharing them with you. I'm pretty sure there are tools that do what I share, but if you're on a budget, this method is perfect for you. By the end of your research, you will know what are the most popular sites that are being cited by different AI platforms based on the queries that are related to your niche or industry and specific to your location so that you can align your brand with those sites. And because of your original research, your site or brand would have attracted lots of backlinks and mentions if you share the data. Wouldn't you want that? Anyway, could you do us a favor? If you have done that research, would you mind sharing it with us so that we can compile everything and present it as a shared resource? After all, it's strength in numbers, right? So stop relying on those generic statistics that mean nothing to you. Be the resource that you so desperately need. Now, based on our research, 82% of the search queries on Google resulted in at least one Reddit thread as a search result. And they are cited 15% of the time on Google AI overviews. Quora will appear 12% of the time as a search result, and they are cited 15% of the time on Google AI overviews as well. And 78% of the time, a discussion and forum section will appear on a search results page. That's based on our research, and if we look at other people's research, it is clear that Reddit is one of the main sources for AI search platforms. So just like how local businesses request people to write a review on Google, Yelp, etc. to influence local searches, businesses and brands, regardless if you sell products or services, can encourage your happy customers to leave their thoughts and opinions on Reddit and Quora. Maybe you can start a thread for them and send them there when they purchase a product. Reddit is a huge influence to major AI platforms, so maybe by doing this, you can influence how the AI platforms perceive your brand. It makes sense, right? Now, we have talked about this in other videos that you can dig into Reddit, Quora, and your customer service log to find conversational queries. But what if you're starting from scratch and you have nothing to base on? Well, you can use AI chatbots like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, and for our example, we will use RankBot, which is a chatbot trained for SEO tasks. As a RankMath user, you have access to the chatbot. Go to RankMath SEO and click on the Contents AI module. And in the Chat tab, here is where you can chat with RankBot. You can use a prompt like this, where it says you are an expert in understanding how people search for things on LLMs, and these are the instructions. Now, this is the traditional SEO keyword that people normally type in Google in the past. You want to generate conversational keywords based on that. Feel free to replace this with the keyword that you're targeting. And then one of the instructions is to make them conversational with different query variations, and these are the output styles. Let's hit enter or return, give it a while, and here we go. We have a list of conversational questions that people will likely search for in AI platforms based on the traditional keyword that we have provided, and you can optimize your content based on them. In a while, I'll show you how to optimize your content for these queries. Other than that, you can use traditional tools like Google's People Also Ask section. Search for a traditional keyword, and most Google searches will come with this People Also Ask section. These questions are what other people normally ask on Google that are related to your search query. You can also rely on a tool like alsoask.com, where you can type a traditional search query, and it will provide you with queries that appear on Google's People Also Ask section 2 levels deep. And if you want to further research on any of the keywords, you can click on it, and it will provide you with the related queries. So identifying those questions that people ask on AI platforms is the first step. The next step is to optimize those questions on the content. Now, I said I would not talk about traditional stuff, but I need to mention this, otherwise it may be confusing to you. Though AI platforms cite information from different pages of your website, you might think that creating different pages and answering one conversational query on each page might be the answer. But that's not what you should do. You should still follow the traditional way of creating content, but with a twist. I will share with you in a while. And you still need to follow the traditional way of structuring your site, adding internal links, and I recommend something called the silo structure. And if you want to learn more about it, you can check out this video right here. But generally, you want to include all the relevant queries that answer the same search intent on one page. For example, we are talking about this traditionally searched keyword, best vegetable gardening tips for beginners. People who search for this keyword are beginners and want to know how to grow vegetables. So we found many different conversational queries related to it that help with the same intent. So we want to put all of them into one page. Do not separate them into multiple pages, targeting one conversational query per page, because it violates traditional search rules and may be labeled as thin content. Anyway, now comes the part where you want to change the way you structure your content. LLMs have something called token limit, which is the maximum amount of text they can process at once. And if the text on your page exceeds that limit, the LLM may only read part of it. So doesn't it make sense that if your page is very comprehensive, it has more than 4,000 words, you should put the important points right at the top of the page so that the LLMs will read them first. So the first thing I recommend is that for every page that has more than 2,000 words, you want to put a key takeaway section right at the top of the page. And it will be even more helpful if the key takeaway section comes with questions and answers laced with the FAQ schema. That way it gives the LLMs more context about the key takeaways, and it helps traditional search engines understand the content better. Let me give you an example. Let's say that we are writing this article. At the top of the page, we have a key takeaway section. And in it, instead of just bullet points, we add questions that customers or potential customers will likely ask, and we answer them in a very concise manner that provides value. And this section is optimized with an FAQ schema. So instead of having the FAQ at the bottom of the page, you are now moving it up to the top. This is how it looks like in the front end, and this is how it looks like on the back end. Let me show you how I created this from scratch. All you need to do is to add a block called columns. We will select this and then go to the base layer, increase the top and side paddings so that the text will not be stuck to the side. And then we also want to add a border. As you can see, there are spaces between the content area and the side. And now we want to add radius so that the corner will be curved. Now let's add the key takeaways. Because we want to respect the heading hierarchy, we will not convert this into a heading. We will make it a normal text. But we want to bold it and make the text larger so that it stands out. And then the next thing you want to do is to click on Add Block, and if you have RankMath installed, you can search for FAQ and you will find this block by RankMath. Let's add the first question. And if you are stuck and do not know what to write, you can have Content AI write the first draft of the answer for you by clicking on this. This will give you an idea on how to start, and you can add the rest of your questions and answers. Now, because by default, the heading of each question is a H3, and we need to respect the heading hierarchy. You can't have a H3 heading without a H2. So what you want to do is to click on the FAQ block, go to its block settings, and change the title wrapper to either a paragraph or div. Now, if we save the page and visit it, we will see that it is all just text, and the questions don't stand out. So we need to bold these questions. Let's save it, and now refresh the page, and here we go. This is how you can create a key takeaway section that includes questions and answers laced with the FAQ schema. Because whatever that is included in this FAQ block will have the FAQ schema added to them. Now, this is just one of the optimizations that make sense for LLMs. The next thing is, for every heading there is on your page, the sentence or paragraph after it needs to be optimized just like how you would do for feature snippets. What I mean is that, for example, we have this H2 heading that talks about how Social Pilot can handle large client volumes, and we have two other H3 headings that talk about the individual features, which explains how the two can handle large client volumes. So the sentence or paragraph right after the H2 heading needs to give a short, concise, and punchy answer that tells people how the product can handle large client volumes. And thereafter, you can go into the details with the H3 headings. And after each H3 headings, you optimize the first paragraph or sentence the same way you do for the H2 heading. But it is optimized for answering its direct H3 heading in the most concise and punchy manner. You should do so for the rest of the content. Because remember, LLMs hardly read an entire page, so you need to have clear heading descriptions that allow LLMs to hone into that section and read the section that is optimized for them. So as a brand or business, there must be some traditional keywords that are important to you. For example, in our case, it will be RankMath versus Yoast, RankMath Free versus Pro, RankMath versus all-in-one SEO, etc. because those are what drives sales. So from the point of view as a consumer, what would you ask the LLM? For me, I would ask, between RankMath, Yoast, all-in-one SEO, and SEO Press, which is the best? Rank them for me. Give it a while for its response. And here we go. If your brand is not in the first place, what you need to do is to know where the AI search platform is getting their information. And you want to go through those sources to understand why the page is not recommending your product as the first. And if there is something that is not accurate, you want to reach out to the site owner to see if there are ways to improve the content. I think going forward, this is one of the main tasks SEO professionals will be doing. Let me give you another example. Another search intent that will be important to us is problem-solving keywords related to voice search optimization. So as a consumer, I'll be asking questions like, which WordPress SEO plugin is best for voice search optimization? And as you can see, rank math is mentioned. However, it didn't say anything about the speakable schema that we provide. So we need to visit the pages that are being cited and understand why speakable schema isn't being mentioned. Maybe the site owner doesn't know about this feature, or maybe they do not have Rank Math Pro and that's why they couldn't see this option and so they didn't write about it. We can reach out to this site owner to see if there's anything that we can work out. Now the thing is, you do not only want to rely on this one search, you want to do so a couple of times on the same platform because those cited sources may not be constant. And you also want to do so on other platforms because their cited sources will be different. I guess this is one way you can hack your brand into AI search platforms. So to get on Google's AI overview, your site needs to be indexed on Google. If you want to appear on ChatGPT, your site have a higher chance if it is indexed on Bing. And although there is no official statement saying that Claude uses Brave as its underlying search engine, there seems to be evidence suggesting that. So it makes sense to be indexed by Brave. We have already talked about how to be indexed on ChatGPT in this video right here. Feel free to check it out, the link is in the description. And we have many videos on being indexed on Google. Check out this video on our channel if you want to. But what about Brave? How do you get your site indexed by it? It doesn't have a search console like Google or Bing. Brave is a privacy web browser and it does not track or profile its users when indexing sites, so they rely on its own independent web index and contributions from its web discovery project to find and rank content. So what you want to do is to have the Brave browser installed on your device, and then visit its settings and click on the search engine tab. From here, you will see the web discovery project option. You want to turn it on, and then through you as a user who participated in the project, you visit your website on the Brave browser, and the Brave search engine will know of your site's existence. In most cases, for established sites, Brave has probably already indexed your site if it is well optimized for SEO and ranking on Google and Bing. So you wouldn't need to do anything extra, but this practice is more for newer sites. Other than that, it will make sense for you to visit Rank Math's general settings and click on the webmaster tools. Fill up all these verification IDs so that your site will be indexed on other traditional search engines. There is a link below each search engine that will bring you to its console page. You never know which search engines the large language models get their sources from unless you are an internal developer or they declare it publicly, which they don't usually do. So it makes sense to be indexed on search engines other than Google and Bing. Now, we have mentioned this in a couple of videos, but I think this is still one of the best ways to optimize for AI search. This text file started as a proposed standard for large language models to identify and prioritize content on websites more efficiently. But more and more businesses, products, and AI models are adopting this standard, so it is one you should not ignore. It is a text file that lives in the root folder of your website, and it tells large language models that these links listed on this text file are the most important pages of your website. And it would be a mistake to add all your pages on this text file because, again, LLMs have a token limit. If there are too many texts on this file, they can't identify which are important. So you only want to include pages that are important to your brand or business. If you want to know how to easily create the llms.txt file and understand what those chunks of text mean so that you can add it on your own, you can check out this video right here. So what do you think about all these optimization techniques? Are they something that you are already doing? Do you have others that we have not yet? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to smash that thumbs up. Our channel is all about helping you grow your brand traffic, and if you haven't subscribed to us yet, consider doing so. This is Jack from Rank Math. I'll see you in the next video.